Hey, what's up, everybody? Eddie Martin here, home of the hustle on Tuesdays. Give this thing a second here. Wait for our guest. Jason Howland's on tonight, action closer. If you guys don't know Jason, you're about to know him. So let me spin around here and share this out. How you guys doing? Colleen, Kyle, what's up? Don't mind me, just over here sharing this thing. Share this out if you could real quick, just waiting on Jason. Come on, man. Internet's slow. That's horrible. It's taking forever. Anyway, what's up, guys? Jason's here. All right. I am just sharing this.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, best day of my life, man.
Dude, every day is the best day, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Dude, I love the mic setup.
Yeah, the little studio going on, man. Like, that's where we hang out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, in case you guys don't know, this is Jason Howland. How you pronounce your last name? Howland? You froze? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. How do you pronounce your last name, man? I hate to mispronounce somebody's last name.
Howland, H-O-W, Howland.
Sorry. Howland. Jason Howland.
The phones are blowing up.
Action closer. So I appreciate you guys hopping in here with us tonight. Hopefully you guys shared this out. I want to introduce you guys to a guy that I hit it off with, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Probably something like that, a couple weeks ago. Don't know how or where we ended up connecting, but we did. And super cool dude. So I figured we get him on here. He's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And there's probably some people who follow Home of the Hustle or share with Home of the Hustle that don't know Jason. So let's just start by, learn a little bit more about you. So where, did you just tweet something?
Did I delete something?
No, I said, did you just tweet something? I just got like a notification on Twitter.
Yeah, I said, woo, like that. Just get the ball rolling a little bit, man.
Nice. So where are you at? Where are you from?
I'm in Clinton Township, Michigan. It's suburbs of Detroit.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you are in the roofing business?
Yeah, I'm in the roofing business. Been a director of sales in that business for a long time. Brought a couple of different companies from like nothing to $6-7 million in short times. It's kind of my thing, like the turnaround thing for them.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of taking a step back. I'm going to start doing more sales and focusing on my sales training and coaching and book writing and all of the stuff that I, kind of wanted to do. It's time to jump out there and do that. I've got a lot of people asking for that service. So I'm kind of making that move right now as of today. Like I took a step back and it's time to do that.
Yeah, it's time to shift gears and go after something you're passionate about that you've been honing over the course of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So did you always been like sales guy at heart, or you just extrovert, or how did you get in there?
Well, I'll tell you, I was in sales and then out of sales for a long time. That's a whole nother thing. I was in a motorcycle gang, addicted, afflicted in every way for like 10 years. Before that, though, I had my taste of sales. I started out working. I was in restaurants, hated it. Like the weekends, it's like retail. You know what I mean? Like all weekends, all nights, every time you want to be somewhere else, you got to be there, kind of thing. So I kind of shifted gears and I took this job slanging cologne on the streets out of a box, man. So like, so it was like walk up to somebody, hey, come here, come here, come here. It was like a 30-second sales cycle. You know what I mean? Get your money out, let's go. And so so like as I was doing that, I was at first having a little bit of trouble. I could sell. Like if I got in front of somebody, it was done. I was getting a deal, right? But I was having trouble in a parking lot just walking up to some stranger and being like, yo, come here, man. Like, come here, check this out. So the guy that trained me, the guy that trained me, and I'll tell you this, I haven't seen him since then, and I was like 19. But he trained me, and he was like, dude, you're good, but you got to get out of your shell, man. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Best thing anybody ever taught me was that one tip from him, and that was probably the only major sales tip I got from him, because really he was just like, here guys, group interview, take some cologne, go sell it. That was pretty much his pitch to us. Yeah. But I had an eviction notice at the time, so I'm like, dude, I got to do this. So anyway, he goes, go stand in a crowded elevator, face away from the door when it shuts, and be like, hey, I'd like to thank you all for coming out, right? So I'm like, seriously? So I go down to the courthouse, because I knew the courthouse and the elevator was always busy. So I'm like standing in this elevator, and my knees are shaking. Like that's it. I'm like, fear of speech, right? That's like a big fear for a lot of people. So my knees are shaking. I'm like, okay, I got to do this, because I'm picturing this eviction notice on my front door. You know what I mean? So like, I got to figure this out. So I'm like, hey man, I'd like to thank you all for coming out, just like that, right? As confident, as big as I could bring it. And like what I found, I ended up staying there for like 4 hours doing that, just getting on the elevator, getting on the other one, going back down. And like by the time I was done, I realized nobody thought it was weird. In fact, it broke that whole quiet, weird elevator feeling that happens. Yeah. And people were like laughing, joking, probably made a lot of people's day a lot better just because that happened, and it changed their mood going to work in the morning. You know what I mean? Yeah. So from that, by that time, at first, you know, when I first started selling cologne, I'm in a button up with a tie, and I'm out sweating out on the streets. Then the next day I show up in a Hawaiian shirt. I got one of those Wisconsin cheese hats. I don't even like the Packers, but I got the cheese hat on. I'm like, yo, come here, man. I mean, like, people are like, what is this guy? But dude, I was making, you know, they had this system where you sell enough cologne, they give you your own office and let you run a business with it, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like the man. I got my office, all that. They were like, I don't think they knew what to do, because nobody ever really got the office before, you know what I mean? But they give me this office, and I kind of fell apart at that time, because I was 19-year-old kid, no idea how to scale a business, run a business. I could get people in for a second. I could get people in and hire them, but I didn't know what to do with the money, like how to work the bills and all that stuff for office and all that. So that kind of fell apart. Then I went off the deep end shortly thereafter for like 10 years. Came back out of that, you know, putting my life back together. Like, family doesn't trust me, friends don't want to talk to me, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I got to build that. So I'm working in a restaurant for like $10 an hour, and I'm on Craigslist. Like, I can't stand this restaurant stuff, so I'm scrolling, and it's an ad says positive sales rep needed. That's all it said. I called it. I'm like, all right, so it's been 13 years since I put a tie on. I'm like, is this home improvement sales? Because I do know a little bit. I've done some odd jobs. So the guy's like, yeah, come in. So I got to go on YouTube and refigure out how to tie a tie. I'm like watching some British guy for, you know, half hour screaming at the mirror, like, dude, I can't, I got an interview, you know, and so I get done. Yeah, get the job done, go out, man, and I'm like, go through 2 weeks of training. Training was awesome, like right from the get-go, like the whole sales idea and all that was awesome. So then I go out, my first lead, right? They're like, hey, it was Friday. I was supposed to finish training Monday, but they're like, we got an extra lead. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but it's a siding lead. Go sell it. So I'm like, all right. So I get all the way to this house, right? And I'm about to go knock on the door, and I realize I don't even have a tape measure. I got to go back to Home Depot and buy a tape measure to measure the siding. So I like broke about every traffic law there was, get to a Home Depot. I'm back. I'm on time. Knock on the door. Take a breath. Went in, made $1,100 in an hour and a half. I was hooked on sales at that moment, right? So moving forward, it was like 3 weeks, and I was obvious the top sales guy in the place, like killing it. And it wasn't falling off. You know, you get that new guy syndrome, and sometimes it falls off. Well, it never did. I was always waiting kind of for the first year or so for that other shoe to drop. You know what I'm saying? And so the shoe doesn't drop. Well, about 3-4 weeks into the job, the owner at that place was kind of like a late riser. So he's like, hey, you want to be sales manager? And he gave me like $300 plus my commissions to come run sales meetings, was basically the job,
Yeah.
you know. I'm like, cool, man. I love talking in front of people. I'll do that. So then we're in a meeting like 2 weeks after that, and he's like, we got to train somebody. You know, we need more sales reps. Who can train somebody? I don't have time. I'm like, oh, I'll try it. So then this guy comes in, and I still talk to him to this day. We haven't worked together in a few years now, but he comes in, he's making like 11, 12 bucks an hour. He's got to climb trees all day, you know, like get up there and cut the branches off. And he's got those shoes and whatever they do. And so he's like, man, I just need something where I can make some money. So we hire this guy. 2 weeks later, same story as me. The guy's made 6 figures every year. I watch his kids going from like him worrying about whether he's got a roof over their head to like, you know, being able to rent ponies and stuff for their birthday party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, ever since I saw him do that, I've had this passion to do that for people. So people ask me, why do I do what I do? It's because it does what it does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my story, where I came from, and it's all history from there. I just keep training people and building teams, and now I'm ready to start making that my business because it's my passion.
Well, yeah, and I mean, to me, the training aspect of it, and you know, sales leadership really is, it's so valuable to all the people that are around you, to everybody that you touch. I mean, if you can teach a guy how to get over one thing that they didn't know how to get over, that could completely change everything for that person, for their life, for their family, for everybody around them. And it's as simple as somebody taking the time out to pass forward the information that they've learned through their own trials. I mean, dude, not many people are going to get in an elevator and let it close and then start pitching everybody, right? There is
right.
Not a lot of people are going to do that. But I did the cologne thing too for like a week when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I was like 19. My daughter had just been born, and I needed to find something. And she was like, hey, you can sell this cologne. And I'm running around in parking lots and trying to sell cologne. And I mean, it was just terrible. I got away really, really fast. But so, yeah, I know most people can't do that kind of stuff. So you have been through the ringer when it comes to like the learning curve of sales. Like, how many years now, besides your like 10-year hiatus, like how many years have you been in the field selling?
About 10, like just shy of 10.
Yeah.
You know, well, between selling and training, being back in the business, about 10. And it's funny because that really makes you know the difference. You said it makes a difference for the people around you. And in the home improvement industry, right? If I sell a roof for $25,000, right? We order $8,000 worth of materials and we pay out whatever, $6,000 in labor or whatever, and the company profits and the commission comes out, right?
Yeah.
But everybody involved, the supplier, the delivery drivers, the you know, the guy who makes the shingles somewhere else in the world, and all of these people that do all of these jobs, they get paid because somebody closed a deal. You know what I'm saying? So kids all over the world eat when you close a deal. It's just a fact. And that's the thing about sales that's so rewarding. Why do economies turn? Somebody walked into a store.
Oh, we lost Jason. He must have had a bad connection, so we'll give him a second to hop back in here. But he's absolutely right. I mean, sales isn't just about you selling something and getting a commission. Sales drives entire economies. You know, for you to sell a product or sell a service, you have a ripple effect on everything else that's going on around you within that scenario. Like he's talking about the roof. I mean, how many people really won off the roof? I mean, you can go all the way down to, you know, the insurance people and everybody else that was involved. All right, he's back. But salespeople drive entire economies. That Grant Cardone talks about. You know, you don't have a budget problem. You have an income problem because sales make the world go round. And you need folks like Jason and folks like the people that we deal with over here at Lightspeed that are going to take their knowledge and pass it forward because they can make a gigantic effect on everything around them, entire economies. So I'm glad you jumped back in there, man. You got a
hey, man, woo! You know, So yeah, but I mean, I got this story that I've always told to my new sales reps and people that I hire. Hey, you know, talking about sales making the world go round. Think about it this way: somebody back in like 1900 or whatever walked into a store, the local general store or whatever. They said, "Here, I got this thing. You can chew on it, man, and it's gonna last hours. It's gonna keep its flavor. You don't have to swallow it. Try this. Okay, here, put a piece. Just try it. You want to carry that on your shelf, right? Everything in the world that you buy has been sold at some point, right? We think of it in this retail idea of like, look at a price tag. That is sales. Somebody has come in and pitched that product to somebody and made that thing a reality out on the shelves. If there wasn't a salesperson, we wouldn't have bubble gum. We wouldn't have cars. We wouldn't have anything if somebody didn't bring it to the market. You know what I mean?
Well,
so it's an important job.
The sales is everything. It's the DNA of how everything functions, because before that salesperson even walked into that place, either he had to be sold by somebody on why he should, and then he had to sell himself on why he should. Maybe he created the product and he's out there selling it. Well, the first sell that happened was him saying, the market needs this solves a problem, I can do this, starts with the sale. And everything else is a sale from there on.
100%. Hey, do you mind if I take a minute to say hi to some people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome. Hey, Melanie, Terrence Freeman, thank you, man. Salespeople are the biggest asset. These are facts. Lawrence Thompson, man. Victor, the gorilla, man. What's going on? Hey, guys, Frank Sell is watching. Such an honor to be talking to all of you. Can you guys hit some buttons? Give us a fireworks show real quick, man, with those little smileys and whatever, and hit that share button. Get some people invited. Let's have a good time right now and teach people that sales is an important thing, because I'll tell you, you know, if you don't understand, some people think salespeople, you know, they're a bother or whatever, but you wouldn't have anything if it weren't for salespeople. And sometimes I think we forget that, but I think it's really important to realize that. And when you meet a salesperson, understand, and salespeople out there, when you meet somebody, don't let up, man. Like I went to the furniture store the other day. This is a good point. Don't let up, because you go to the furniture store, and I think everybody watching, and you've probably been here too, the guy says, hey, what can I help you with? And you throw up your hands, automatic defense reaction. You're like, I'm just looking, right? So what does the guy do? He goes, oh, okay, I'll give you some time. Now he says, I give you some time. When you walk back up, when he walks back up as a salesperson, now he's intruding. He put himself in the situation to have that awkward moment of, do I walk back up or don't I walk back up? Hey, look, perfect. You're just looking. Let me take you where you got to go. What can I show you? I'll get you there. You know, and they'll go, oh, we're looking for a couch. Perfect. Now you're in. You're to the couches. Yeah. You're like, what kind of couch? You know, so salespeople interact. The most important commitment you'll ever get in sales is a committed and engaged conversation with the customer. Customer, engage the salesperson. They're there to help you get what you need. It's 100% a fact. If they're not, then you're going to walk away anyway. I've had that experience, and I'm a lay down sale, man. Like if I walk into a place and they're like not throwing stuff at me, I'm like buying, you know?
Yeah.
But I've had it a couple times where I had a car dealership. They had exactly the car I wanted. He had exactly the color I wanted, everything I wanted, but he was schmoozing my kids and acting all cheesy, and I was like, I gotta go, man. So I went somewhere else and actually spent more there to get a salesperson that was engaging.
It falls on both sides, dude, from a salesperson's standpoint and from a consumer standpoint, because, I mean, we all have that stigma kind of ingrained in us about sales, even people in sales. If some cheesy sales guy comes up and he's totally being ingenuine, I mean, you're like judging him as a bad salesperson, right? They're setting themselves up for failure. But then the issue is you allow that to roll forward into the next interaction where they might be dealing with you, or they might be dealing with me, or they might be dealing with somebody who actually genuinely cares about getting them what they need and solving their problem, but your walls are up. So the responsibility on the transaction or the interaction really does fall on everybody involved. But it starts most definitely with the salesperson approaching somebody in a way that is productive. So where did the action closer thing come from? Where'd you come up with that?
All right. So my theory, on closing is that everything has to be closed. Everything, right? I got a deal, or I got a task I want to get done. I got to close that. I got to finish it, right? An action closer is a finisher. It's somebody that's going to take action to close things up. I'm going to, I want to start this business or scale this business that I've run for a little while now to a bigger thing. It's time to close that deal. It's time to take action, make it happen, right? You got a thing you want to do in your life. It takes a close. You got to close yourself mentally and close those doors behind you and finish things. So that's where that came from. Like, I think the most important thing in the world in business and entrepreneurship is to close, like, and to take action immediately on an idea. How many times, I know you've done it, I've done it, everybody watching has done this. How many times have you said, I'm gonna, I got this great idea, and then you forget the idea or can't put it into action because you didn't do it when it came?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or at least take the action to get it written down or put a note in your phone as you're walking, because if you don't, it's gone. It's going to go away.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
So many times that I couldn't even begin to count or have any sort of idea of how many times I've had an idea that, this is the greatest idea, blah, 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 we can do this, and just don't write it down, don't do nothing. And it does not only go with ideas, it goes with freaking tasks. It goes with everything in life. I mean, I went through a little period of time where I was just bombarding myself with self-development and with information, and you're just ingesting information, but the only thing that really matters is what you do with that information, and that is the action. Like actually going out and applying the information that you're taking in. So that's why the whole action closer thing really resonates with me, because at the end of the day, if you don't even have to know nothing. If you just act and you learn as you go, you'll stumble your way there, but you got to act.
Yeah. You know how many times? In fact, I got a perfect example. One of my clients has a salesperson that she's all she does is take action, and it works. Like she doesn't really know, she's learning, but she doesn't, when I came to his organization, she didn't know much at all about sales, but she was still getting deals because she was just out there bumping into them. You know what I mean? Just constantly just doing something. And that activity, that level of activity, now once you hone your skills, you're a master. If you can master the idea of just being active and going and pushing, dude, you're gonna have that. Just learn the skills on top of that, and you're going to be a master in the art of closing deals.
Absolutely. You start adding information and actual practical knowledge, because something that might work for you, like you're teaching sales training, something that might work for you might suit your personality, and it might work well because it's something that you picked up on. But somebody that goes out there and just acts and maybe doesn't take in a lot of information can develop a baseline of what works for them and what doesn't work for them that's congruent with their personality. And then when they start taking in actual hard information and actionable advice, then they can now have a place to mold that where it fits for them. Like, I'm not going to ask a guy in a deal, have you seen enough to make a decision? That line does not, that's not something that I can say to somebody. It's not congruent with who I am. So
you broke up for a second. What was the line?
Oh, I said the have you seen enough to make a decision?
Oh, okay.
Have you seen enough to make a decision? That is not a line that really goes together with me and my personality and how I get the job done. But if I were to just pick up a sales book and was learning lines, you're going to throw out whatever you're being taught. So I think that going out and acting and getting your teeth kicked in is a great place to start. But if you just go get your teeth kicked in and then you don't train, you're going to lose in the long run.
Right. I think like you said, there's a baseline amount of knowledge somebody has to have. And being from a home improvement part of that industry, that type of sales is tough, man. I mean, those are some of the best closers, because they got to walk in to somebody else's house and they got to walk out with a check for anywhere from 6 to 12 to 30 grand in their hand when they leave. And so obviously before you could send somebody out to do that, they've got to have a process. And that's another thing too. You say get out there and bump yourself around, sure, but you should still have a sales process. Systems and tools sell. So
Absolutely.
if you got something, if you got something to start with, you can stutter and stammer through it and mess it up and whatever. People don't care about that. They care about confidence, and they care about the fact that you're doing something in order. Because what happens is, especially in home improvement, you've got a book to go through, and if you start letting the customer ask questions and get you off your schedule, so to speak, you're going to hurt yourself, because you're going to lose track of where you are, and you're going to be doing one thing twice and missing another thing. And those commitments that you get throughout that pitch of which one do you want? Oh, I want that one. So no matter what's out there, you want this one. Perfect. Now, no matter who they're going with, they're picking that at least. So at the end, it's about the money, and I can convince them to spend the money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely great information.
Yeah, I mean, from a sales training standpoint, I think you and I come from the same sort of background, right? No training, literally hit the ground, bleed all over the place, lose some teeth, and learn your way through it. So I think I'm a little biased when it comes to the baseline of what a salesperson should do, because I feel like you should have a period of time where you go out there and you don't know what the hell you're doing, because the fact that you keep acting and you keep producing that action and that result of just keep doing it, that then you come back to training and you're like, it's like basic, dude, it's like going off to basic training. You need systems, you need to know what you're supposed to say, you need training. I hate being the guy that says, I don't wish anything was different about anything that happened to me, because if anything was different, then I wouldn't be who I am. I look back on it when I got into sales. I get outside sales at 22. No training. My training was, you got 2 years to figure it out or you're fired. That was my training. And I didn't mind the first little bit of time where I was out smashing 60 doors a day. I didn't mind that, but looking back on it, that was the boot camp that was necessary and needed. So I really believe you got to go get your ass kicked, and then you can hone in, and then you can be a badass.
Right. Well, I think there's a balance, because what you realize, the one thing you'll realize by doing that is that you're out there, you get the one, right? You get that first one, and all of a sudden, you're like, okay, this can be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is just totally your level of action. That night when I got that first deal, dude, I was there for 3 hours. I wasn't going away without a deal. And it wasn't like I did it perfectly, but what it was is I was determined to just keep acting on whatever objections they were throwing at me, and trying to spit out whatever canned information they gave me to go through when the person says that. And you just said something that really resonated with me, if I could. The no training thing, right? People like me and you, right? What if, and you and I have had this conversation in private, I think, before, but what if people knew how to close deals coming out of high school, coming out of junior high? Like, that was something, because think about it, that's what is most important in the world. You need a job. I don't care what job you're trying to get, you got to close that deal, and whoever closes that deal is the one with the money. And it doesn't matter, you got to take care of a family, you got to close deals, right? So we've talked about that. I think it's really, really important. We're gonna work on something. We're gonna train adults and children to close deals so that we have better economies in the future. I really believe that if more kids had some idea how to do sales and closing, I think we'd have a better future for our kids and their kids.
I agree 100%. I mean, what the average college graduate makes 50, 60 grand a year, I think was what it is. Salespeople that know what they're doing never make less than 6 figures.
For sure. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Imagine you or me, if somebody had come to us at 14 or 13 and said, hey, check this out. I know, for me anyway, I know you got that attention deficit advantage, and you can't pay attention in class, and your mind moves faster than everybody else. I got a job that'll keep your mind moving that fast. I got a job that'll teach you to, because you like to react on your feet and move. You know, if somebody had said that to me at 14 and said, "Hey, dude, check this out," right? I'd have been like, I'd have probably $1 billion by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just simply because I would have known exactly what to do when I got into situations in life where I had to make a deal. You know,
Absolutely.
So I think it's super important.
I think it's hugely important. I mean, I have 3 kids. My daughter is 15, and I have twin boys that are 11. And since they were tiny, I have always been trying to like wrap a sales blanket around everything that they do and teach them, you know, the things that matter and the things that don't, and how to kind of get their way, but then also allowing them to use their own personality to do that. I mean, we're selling from the day that we're born. We just don't know that we're doing it, right? How do you get the bottle? You scream and frickin' cry until they stick the bottle in your mouth. I mean, essentially, we're like a dog.
Dude, that's closing. That's persistence. That's rule number 1. You know what I mean? You just keep crying until you get what you want. Then you learn to talk, and then they start to go, well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? You know, and I think one of the points Grant Cardone has made in the past that I agree with is we teach our kids no, like to take a no and be polite, and yet that why is what would get them the business that they need when they get older, or make them the money that they need. So I think it's got to be a different type of obedience that you teach instead of you know, just flat out no. It's like, close me. Me. Tell me why it's a good idea. You know, tell me why I should do that. You win some, you lose some. You're not going to close every deal, but at least you're in the right field anyway. Hey, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Frank, man, thank you. He says it's great stuff. Crystal, University College, she said it left her 80 grand in debt. Okay. And she's nowhere near the field she studied. And I see this story. I was a recruiter at one point for a sales organization where I was corporate trainer, and they couldn't get me good enough people. So I'm like, well, let me recruit for a while. And I did. And so what happened is I realized half of the people at the job fairs and on monster jobs and all that, they all got these degrees, and they're looking for a job that's way under the degree that they were hoping to have. You know, they're 10 years out of college, they're hoping to get 30 grand. You know, they're 10 years out of college and they're not anywhere near their field. I think that's a great point. Thank you, Crystal. You know, so I think that's really, really awesome to think about. Just guys, if school ain't for you, quit and go sell stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you're not going to be a doctor, don't bother with it. So,
I got one of my sons right now. There ain't no way he's making it all the way through school. That boy does not care what is going on in that class. And he's cool. This is what he wants to do. This is what he tells me. He says, Dad, I'm going to buy an RV, and I'm gonna run my online business, and I'm just going to sell and drive around the country and look and see everything. Cool, man.
Hey, that's not bad.
Let's do it. What do you like? What do you love? What do you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
What makes you happy? Because it ain't going to be the same in 10 years, so do that now.
Does Bentley make an RV?
They're about to.
Right? Can you get a converted Lambo or something? Like,
exactly.
With that mentality, that's what it'll be.
But I think, you know, going back to what we were talking about, we are instinctually salespeople. We're born salespeople. We have to learn how to sell to get our way through life. And I think we get to a certain point where society just breaks you down, and standards and what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. Some of that has to do with your parents and the whole no thing. And some of it has to do with your surroundings, the people around you, what teachers, what's considered acceptable. And then you hit high school and it's just like a hot mess of shit. If you can transition kids from the point where they're still got that relentlessness in them and they still have that sales to them before they get broken, and put something in their hands to teach them how to take care of themselves, to teach them how to stay confident and get deals done, because at the end of the day, that's what makes the frickin' world go round. I think, what do you think the age is, dude? Like maybe age 11 to like
Yeah,
17 is like the breaking years.
that's what I'm thinking. Yep, 11 years old. That's the time where they've already done their reading and writing and arithmetic, the normal stuff that you got to learn to exist. And then I think, sales training, you're going to learn math doing that. You're going to learn math. You got to know your margins. You got to know where you can get to. I think what a great class. What's your margin on that, little Jimmy? Oh, it's 63%. Awesome, because you need to know that to live. You need to know you got this much bills, and I make 135% of what my bills are. I got to make some more. You know what I mean? And also the attitude of not being raised to be average, which is what our schools do today. Hey, look like him, act like him, look like the neighbor, buy a car because the neighbor likes it, buy a house because you think your neighbors are going to think it's cool, do this because of that. Hey, man, like, what do you like, man? If you want to drive a purple minivan because you like it, then drive a purple minivan. Don't care that I think it's stupid, but you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, live your life in a way that fulfills you, and learn that school in this conformity is to create a middle class that can pay taxes. That's the whole purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be there. You just don't.
I agree. Well, and you got to figure out what makes you happy, man, without diving off into a whole nother topic that we could go down, because it's true.
Right.
Like, we don't know, like, we're raised to be average, but maybe the things that you like you find yourself as an adult and these are the things you like Gary Vee preaches about it. Well, if you can make 60 grand working for yourself and selling all your shit on eBay, and it makes you happy, do it, whatever. You don't have to be a billionaire or a millionaire, and you're not going to be the next, Michael Jordan. It's likely not. And coming to a point of acceptance of who you are and your self-awareness to the point where you know what you want. Because there's the opposite side. So there's the side that's trying to tear your ass down and make you conform to everything. And then there's the other side that sensationalizes things up so high that most people can't get there. And then they just fall way down into the shit because they're disappointed in themselves because the standards have been set too high. The distance between the two things that people think that they're supposed to be doing are so different that people end up on the shit side instead of on the good side. So,
well, I think one example that I've heard used and I've used is how far are you right now from your potential? Where do you want to be? I think the biggest thing that bothers me is when somebody isn't living to their potential. You know what I mean? I hate to see poverty. I hate poverty. I've been there, I've lived on the streets, I've been behind in the rent, I've had eviction notices, I've been evicted. That sucks. And it's a mindset, and you're not living up to your potential. But listen, this is the thing. People have this ability, and if you look at where you can be and where you are, and you look at that distance and you go, okay, what are the things that are if I'm on a motorcycle and I'm cruising down the highway, what is in my way? What am I going to go around or over to get to that potential, right? And I think that's where the thinking, if they would just teach that to kids, live up to your potential, yours. If and it doesn't have to be money. Maybe somebody wants to move to the woods and build a log cabin and live off the land. Awesome, sweet. I'm not going to do it, but if somebody wants it, and that's what fulfills, and on top of that, they have to take care of theirs. If you're going to make a family, take care of the family. If you're going to have but if that's what you and your family do, cool. But it's potential. Don't build a 3x3 hut if you're going to go live in the woods. Build yourself a log mansion that you can do, and make it the best it can be for yourself. You know what I mean?
I agree with you completely. So what are we working with here? Okay, we're coming up on time, so I don't want to be aware of where we're at. So I don't know if you guys knew Jason before, but you see now why me and him hit it off and why he's on here and why I want to make sure that all you guys know who he is, because he's a good, solid dude with a good, solid message that is just trying to live up to his potential and go out there and act upon his purpose. And so I wanted you guys to know him. I wanted you guys to meet him. And you'll have some new friends, you know, after this. And I'll probably have some new friends that didn't know me because of you. And now because you're here, they know me. So this is the beauty of community. This is what we do here at Home of the Hustle. This is how a network works, right?
Awesome.
It's a give and take. So where can everybody find you? I know me and you are like connected everywhere, I think. So where can these guys get you?
Well, you know, you can call my office. It's 586-231-1497. If I don't pick up, I promise I always return my messages. If there's 40 of them, I call back. Message me on Facebook Messenger. Hit me up on Twitter at Jason_Howland. You can grab me on Facebook anytime you want to. Like, I'm available and I respond. And anyone who knows me that's watching will tell you, if you talk to me, I will respond, whether it's now or 3 hours or 4, you know, it's just whatever I'm doing. But the interaction to me is the most important thing. No matter how far I take this business, I want to interact with people that are learning from me, because I need that. I need that testimony to myself that I'm doing the right thing out there. So if you want to reach me anywhere, just type in my name, type in Action Closer on Google. That comes up too. Whatever you want to do.
Sweet. So you
and JasonHowland.com.
Say that again. I think I cut you off.
And my website is JasonHowland.com. Really easy to remember.
Sweet. So you got a book coming out. I know we're winding down, but we didn't mention the book. I want to make sure everybody knows what you got coming.
Okay. Yeah. The book is called Becoming an Action Closer. Okay. Becoming an Action Closer. It's how to learn to take that action. Awesome book. The first chapter, chapter 0, tells my whole story of the motorcycle gang, all of that, and how I came to be a maniac from the bad side to a maniac on the good side. And then it walks you through the whole sales process, talks about bulletproof mindset. There's all kinds of great information. And then chapter 12 is actually an activity book that goes through each chapter and gives you activities. And I'm going to post that book on that chapter on the website. So when you fill that one out, you can always go in and print another chapter and work it again and again if you want to. I think it'll be a huge tool for people.
That's awesome. That is awesome. When is it supposed to drop?
Well, the book is written. I've got somebody working on a forward for me, really good friend of mine, not the fastest writer, but I want him to write it, so that's part of it. And then the cover work and stuff is in the works. Should be within the next 2 months, and I will give you an update.
Well, when you drop the book, we'll definitely get back together and get on one of these again and talk about the book, because I love everything that you're doing, and I want everybody to know you. Okay?
Thank you.
Tomorrow night on Home of the Hustle, Frank Sell has Jordan Stupar on. Jordan is a former sales guy for Grant who went off and doing his own thing now. Jordan's a super cool guy, close friends with our Freedom Fridays brother, Justin Myers. So tomorrow, don't miss that one. Jordan Stupar on with Frank Sell tomorrow. Thursday is the Law. Lawrence Thomas, he'll be here on Thursday. I'm not sure who he has on. And then Friday, Justin Myers with the Freedom Fridays, and Saturdays are Savage Saturdays with Daniel Joseph. So stay close to the page and pay attention, because we all have different times that we go on based around our schedules. What's up?
Real quick. Hey, guys, give me a fireworks show. Come on, man. Woo! Type in some woo, hit some fireworks show, one last share. Come on, make this video go everywhere. Help us grow so we can help you grow. That's all I want to say.
Dude, the woo thing, like, it's captivating everybody. Like, when you pop into the comments and it's woo, like, everybody like does it back. It's freaking awesome.
I love it. And you know what's funny? I watch a video and I haven't even said anything yet, and 12 people say woo right off the top. So it's awesome. I thank you for that. Yeah. So fireworks show's going off, man. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Woo! So yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Awesome time with you.
Absolutely, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing, and our relationship will continue to grow. And we got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe for us and all of our networks and everything that we have going on. So really excited about that. Hey, you're with the like ETE and the Flipper and all those guys on the, what is it, the Elite Closers?
The Powerhouse. The Powerhouse Show. No, I'm not with the Elite Closers. I support them. They're awesome people, but the Powerhouse Show is a Friday night show too.
Okay,
So,
sweet.
yeah,
So
and that's
check
Chevy
them out on
Senior,
Friday nights,
ETV.
as long as it's not when Justin Myers is on. And, and then go check them out afterwards or before. I was bringing up the Elite Closers thing because what the one gentleman's doing where he's like basically went homeless and selling himself across the country. I need to get with that dude and get on the phone.
I'll hook you up. I talked to him on the phone yesterday. I talk to him all the time.
He needs support.
Yeah,
that dude, he needs to feel the love from the network because he's put himself out there big time.
Yeah, do that.
Go follow their page.
Yeah, follow Elite Closers, and by the way, he's got some great sales plans in the works. He's making a progress. He'll have a Lambo by the time he gets to California. So I'm excited for him.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all you guys hanging around, sticking around. Thanks for the shares and the love and all the support that you do. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Frank Sell and Jordan Stupar. Go to homeofthehustle.tv and get registered so we can send you all kinds of cool stuff. Have a good night, guys. Take it easy, dude.
Thanks, man.
Woo! Peace. Woo!